Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Cody Central. As always, hope you guys are in the comments. Drop your name, drop where you're at. Let us know how it's sounding. We got a really fun one in store tonight. I'm going to give it a couple seconds to let some people jump on here. Shout out to everybody that is coming in live from YouTube. If you're on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to Hellhound Publishing. If you're watching this on Facebook, well, I'm lucky you. Shout out to our friend Jen. Jen's one of the first people to pop in. What's up, Jen? I hope you're doing well. We got an awesome show in store tonight. I got a good friend and a comedian from the scene around here. I got Andrew Mcguinness here. We're going to be talking to all things comedy, life, bullshit, all sorts of stuff. As soon as we get a few more people in here, I'm going to start running through some of the pre-show stuff, but I'm really excited for what we got going on tonight. You guys, when you guys get all jumped in and settled here, let me know what you guys think of the new set decoration. No more friggin' blank wall behind us, so you guys can stop telling me to fucking not have a blank wall. All right. So like I was saying, we got an awesome one tonight. Thank you guys so much for coming back, whether it's your return or your first time here. We got a fun one in store. I'm going to jump through some of our week-to-week prereq things that we cover, and then we will get right into it. So my music choice of the week is the new Rock Marciano and Alchemist album. It's called The Skeleton Key. It just came out super recently, so that's a hip-hop choice. If you're into hip-hop, if you're into beautiful sample production, if you're into super wordsmith level lyricism, this is an awesome record. I'm still going through it right now, so I don't have a full review of it, but anything that Rock and Alchemist put out, I'm always going to listen to, and so far so good. And then for our movie of the week, I actually have two choices this week for movie of the week. So my first one is True Grit from 2010. It's the remake by the Coen brothers, and basically, like, seldom does a remake hit the mark and maybe even surpass the expectation. This was an enjoyable watch all the way through. The acting was fantastic. One of the things I loved the most was the dialogue. The dialogue is so wild, but it really just is so interesting. It was definitely worth a watch, whether you've seen the original or not. Anything Coen Brothers is usually pretty awesome, as you can probably tell. My other choice is a documentary called Searching for Mr. Rugoff. It's directed by Ira Deutschman. It came out in 2019, and it's a documentary about the life and the seeming disappearance of one of cinema's most renowned movie distributors and theater owners. This guy, Mr. Rugoff, he basically elevated the cinema experience in the 60s and 70s. He changed the way movies were marketed, and he had a taste for curation unlike anybody before him. And as the decades went on, he seemingly disappeared. And so an old employee of his goes on the search to figure out what happened to him. So I saw both of those this week, and those were super interesting. If you want to know more about movie shit, movies that I'm watching, reviews that I put up every week, anything like that, consider following me on Letterboxd. My username there is just Cody Pope, and we can talk all the movie shit we want. And my read of the week, I'm still reading Subliminal. I actually brought it in with me this time so I could show you guys a little bit about what it looks like. Not super deep into it, but it's been a really cool read. One excerpt here that I wanted to bust out that I thought was really interesting. I should have highlighted it like an asshole. But coincidentally, I won't get into it, but it's really, it really challenges the way that you think about things, and it really challenges your perception of how you process your reaction to things. So as it goes on, I'm really digging it. Great read. Open a book. It's good for you. And lastly, event listings this week is running a little smaller than usual. I didn't do a great job at trying to search for everybody's listings. But as we always mention, if you have a show coming up and you want it listed in the event listings, please email for consideration to codycentralshow.com. Let me throw that up right in the banner there. Sponsorships, event listings, anything like that, send it all to codycentralshow@gmail.com. However, our guest, Andrew Mcguinness, on this Thursday, 12/19, he's going to be at Soho in Hudson, New Hampshire. And then Saturday and Sunday are big Cody and Byron days. So Saturday, the 21st, Byron and myself are going to be performing live on WMNH 95.3 FM. That's Manchester radio. If you're in that area, tune in. It's also going to be streaming online. We're going to do an interview and an on-air performance as well. That's going to be around 11 o'clock in the morning. The next day, Sunday, the 22nd, Byron and myself are going to be doing our last show of 2024. We're going to be live at the Shaskeen in Manchester, New Hampshire. We're going to be performing at Rap Night Manchester, the 10-plus year residency, every Sunday night starting at 9 o'clock, $5, 21 plus. So come out and see us for our last show of the year. It's going to be quite the crazy show. Shout out to my brother Ryan jumping in here from YouTube. Appreciate the love, Ryan. Love all these people that come in week to week. It really makes the show more fun. You know, I know so many of you guys that jump in the comments now, so keep it up. So that was everything that we had to cover preliminarily. A lot of cool stuff coming up this week. And so I think it's about time to bring in our guest. So as I had mentioned before, and I mentioned in some of the lead up to the show, Byron and myself actually had a show like 2 weeks ago or so. It was the start to this run that we're on right now, which is like our final show run for the year. And we played a spot that we hadn't played before. It was called the Hop Knot in Manchester. Obviously, as you can tell, we usually play like Shaskeen or Jewel or something like that. And so we got invited to do this thing at the Hop Knot. It was like a poetry open mic Renaissance kind of thing, put on by some really cool people. It's a night called Bards on the Rocks. So we had no idea what to expect. So we showed up and we did our thing and tried to make a set that was kind of like curated to that, what we thought the audience would be. And we had a blast. But then the features went on first. So once we were done was the like open mic portion of the night. And it was fucking wild. There were so many types of poets, comedians, rappers, all this shit. But I kid you not, we tried to like watch a bunch of the acts, and then we were gonna go out, we were gonna step outside for air and have a smoke. And as we were at the bar, the way the bar wraps is that the end of the bar is almost at the door. And as we were about to go out, I hear the guy on the stage and he's like, yo, are those rappers still here from earlier? So I look at Byron and we're like, yeah, like we're here. And he proceeds to drop this joke that you probably saw in the teaser earlier. And we were just dying. It just had us laughing so much. So obviously we connected and we just had to dive in further. Anybody that knows me knows how much I love comedy. So let me, I'm gonna fix his camera because it started drooping a little bit. That's my fault. Pretty much. And so without further ado, let me bring my man in, Andrew.
Hey everybody.
Hey. Dude, thanks so much for coming out tonight. Andrew's live in studio, so if you see me turn my head like this, I'm not losing my mind.
I feel weird like staring at the phone. It'd be so weird for me.
I tried it with the last in-studio guest I had. I tried it, I think, for about 3 minutes. It worked. I was like, don't mind if I don't look at you. And then I was like, I can't do this.
It's so like, I don't even think I could have done this at home. I think I would be so fucking distracted.
It really.
You have a place to go to.
I know.
I can't be trusted to do one thing at a time if I'm alone like that. So yeah, how fucking cool is that bar show though? Like,
dude, that was so much fun. I had a blast.
That's a wicked cool show. I love those kids. That's a wicked cool crowd every week.
I can't wait to go back to that.
Scared the shit out of me to go there. That looks like a crowd that's not going to enjoy. They look like they're not gonna like me at all, and they they completely ruined that. So they're fucking they're an amazing crowd.
Yeah.
It's a lot more fun.
That's what we were worried about too. We had the same thing. We were like, we tried to pick songs that we thought would fit the vibe, but it was like we didn't know what the fucking vibe was. You know what I mean? Like
it's really cool. It's like you go to like Somerville and you see people that look exactly the same as that crowd. You know, I'm about to form. They're gonna hate every fucking
Yeah.
out of my mouth, but I don't know that crowd up there. So they're so cool. They're so fun. Like Poetry got like a really soft rap for a while.
Yeah.
And, like dudes like Jeremiah.
Yeah.
That host, like they make poetry like cool and dirty again.
Exactly.
It's like that's a really fun show. You see some crazy shit going in it. The fun money.
I'm a huge fan of like the beat poet scene and shit too. Like I collect a lot of those books. And you know, like obviously Kerouac, Bukowski, you know, and so being at that show, it reminded me of that kind of essence. Like I don't want to make such a bold fucking comparison, obviously, but like just that raw energy and that like vulnerability was just so cool to be around. I really enjoyed it.
There's a lot of that same thing. Vibe.
Yeah.
Like it seems genuine. Like they don't seem like Jeremiah is a legitimate insane person. He's a very legitimate crazy person. He's not faking any of that shit. He's like a true artist. He's fantastic. They do a really great job.
I'm excited. He's actually going to be on the show here in late January. So I'm excited for that. So if you're paying attention, make sure you check him out. It's going to be January 27th, I think, is the date. I'll confirm, but
I don't know exactly how they do it. Seasons at that Bard show, but I know
this
one is actually their season finale. I think they're on season 3 right now. I think season 4.
Yeah, I wonder how that works. Like how many of them are like in a season?
I don't know. I have no idea if they even take a break or if it's just like completely arbitrary. But yeah,
it's interesting, I guess.
Like a big celebration this week. So I'm looking
That's
forward to this week, hopefully.
So make sure check out Bards on the Rocks. You can find them on Instagram. You can find them on Facebook. Also check out Jeremiah Walton. He is on Instagram and Facebook. Although Cancel Poetry at Cancel Poetry. That's where you can find him on Instagram. So make sure that you are checking for him there. So that was how we got to this point. But
so happy with that joke in front of the crowd.
Oh my God, that was the best.
I was very happy you guys liked that. And yeah, I was very happy that you're actually voicing my friend Danny. It turns out it's like so you're a fucking big kid. I was like, I really hope this lands. So I had no clue how this was gonna go. Very happy that you enjoyed it.
That was great, man. Shout out to Danny P too. Hope you see this, Danny P. Love you, buddy. Laugh Attic. Every Thursday?
Every Thursday.
Laugh Attic every Thursday at Strange Brew Tavern.
Happening this Thursday, happening the 26th, the day after Christmas. If you're hungover, come on to see something.
Absolutely. I love this. Thanks to everybody that's here from YouTube. It looks like YouTube is kind of the reigning supreme tonight, which I love because obviously, as I mention all the time, we're really, as Hellhound Publishing is working really hard to try and grow our YouTube presence by doing the different documentaries, the music videos, podcasts, all that kind of stuff. So thank you guys for supporting us there. It's super important. I have so many things I want to ask you, but since we just talked about the joke,
okay.
You got to tell me the origin of that. How did that come to be?
So, as you know, the main character in that joke is a rapper from named Pipe Dreams. I do believe his first name is Scott. I could be wrong on that.
No, I think you're right.
Okay, all right. But regardless, I only know this kid as a rap name, and innocently doing my shopping a couple months back, very, very high, and I'm walking into the dairy section, and I see him taking just a little bit too long, trying to decide what kind of milk he wants. And I couldn't. I'm not mature enough to handle it, and I was like, this is a guy who I've seen I've seen him pour his heart out. He has great songs. I only know him as a stage name, and he's sitting here looking between 1% milk and 2% milk. I couldn't fucking deal with it. And I was like, he's like, he may act all like they act all cool in songs and shit. I was like, but he's just a regular dude. And I was like, and I don't think I can handle being in public with a guy that I only know as a stage name, just doing regular guy shit. It was fucking crazy to me.
Oh.
I need to do that joke in front of him.
I was just gonna ask you if he's
not. I think he's seen it. I'm pretty sure he's seen it. I haven't gotten a chance to do it in front of him yet.
Man.
I'm very much looking forward to that though. But I had to I straight up abandoned shopping. I could not. I had to I abandoned. I could not. I was laughing so hard. And I couldn't be around people. I was fucking
oh my god.
in Market Basket. I had to leave for a minute to compose myself. I just went back in. Prayed to God I didn't see him. Got my shopping done. Had a new.
Oh my god, that's fucking wild. Do you do a lot of mixed format shows, to where you might be in the same room as him performing, or? I know we met at a mixed show technically, so.
Yeah, I think there are, especially in Google, he actually hosts a couple of things that are mixed.
Oh, cool.
I haven't gone to his latest iteration of one yet, so I haven't had a chance to do it. But yeah, I think I've done more mixed stuff recently. I think I spent years of Mcguinness. I can always be fucking brutal. Without fail, you're gonna go on right after something super sad.
Yeah.
Something very touching and sincere that I'm gonna talk to. Who's the dude? Fucking this. I'm gonna be an idiot after something. If someone forced their heart out. That's why bars is cool, because despite what they're doing, everyone's got this kind of to them. So there's never that. You don't feel just shit going up after someone.
Yeah.
Last week they mixed up the order. I was supposed to follow another comic, would have been great. Instead, they put the next guy up, and he's saying church hymns in Latin, chanting in church. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, and I'm gonna go up and talk about, hey, I'm shopping. I'm a special ed teacher. Kids are fucking crazy. And this guy is singing beautifully in Latin. That's some bullshit.
No, that's not fair.
That's the point of a mix. It's a cool challenge though too. It's and you follow the sound of silence being played in the most beautiful way ever. Everyone's very sad.
Yeah.
And you go and tell a joke and make things fun. And usually it's no, but it's a fun challenge regardless.
I almost think you need it in that kind of room because it gets so fucking heavy.
Yeah.
That it's somebody please just lighten this shit up now. Somebody just crack the tension.
When I first started, I used to go to this open mic that was mixed in Lowell. It was all very hippie people that were 50 plus, all very good musicians, all singing such sad songs. And then there's idiot me, a year into comedy, just the worst jokes ever, going up after people, they're just trying to have wine and have a good time with music, and then just gets completely ruined by me for 8 minutes talking about whatever bullshit I was talking about in 2017. It's an insane decision on my part. I feel like that's what comedy is though. It's a series of awful decisions that you make multiple nights. I think that it doesn't even matter how it goes. On my way there and on my way home, I could not have done this. I could have just stayed home. I could have just driven by. It's a terrible decision every.
I feel it's so cool though, because it's one thing that I admire so much about comedy, and I've tried to kind of parallel it to music, but you can't, is the idea of I don't know what you would call it, but workouts, where it's as a comedian, you can go hit 3 or 4 spots in a week. Yeah. Even being in here in New Hampshire, Massachusetts and shit. Yeah. It's if you're willing to drive an hour, you can do something, you can work out almost every night.
You can get in front of so many different types of crowds. I'm in Lowell, I'm 25 minutes from Boston. Man, I'm so close to everything. I'm an hour from Maine. I can go get in front of so many different types of crowds. I can get on stage multiple times a night, most nights a week if I really wanted to.
Yeah,
we're in a great area of the world for that.
Yeah,
nice.
It really works out so friggin' well.
Yeah,
but I just think that's so cool because it's one of those, as a hip hop artist, it's I try not to, but I could take the same set and go hit 3 or 4 different places and bring those same songs and see what the reaction is.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you're like working out with comedy, it's like you're trying bits, but you're like changing the order up, or you're like letting the crowd work lead into something else and writing on the spot. There's like, it's just such a unique process that like, I don't think people always understand the backside of it. They're just like, oh, the guy's gonna show up and be funny. And it's like, dude, the way you get to the fucking gig is almost funnier, you know? It's like so much shit happens.
So much trial and error.
Yeah.
Even when you're at a show and you've been working on these shows for months and months, and then you still like, you could be at a show and bomb one of those jokes that you've been like, it's constant trial and error. And it's what makes it fun. So it's like it's a great test of your ego, like how much punishment you can take. But it's when it works, it's like an amazing feeling. It's an incredible feeling when you get even like a slight laugh. It's a good feeling. When you start getting better at it, the small victories like that make up for like all of the bullshit that you do get to that point. It's very fun though. It's a lot of fun. I do you mentioned it in a minute. I've been doing a lot of crowd work for the last like year. It's just kind of see if I can do like different ways to get into my jokes. So it's like, I don't know. It feels, I don't know, if I'm not interacting with someone, it feels like so forced. It feels like it's such a performance. But if I can like act like I'm doing my bit for actual people and like actually talking and having a conversation, it feels more good.
I think about that a lot too, because you know, as a musician, the expectation is for us to go and perform, and especially as a rapper, it's like get up there and fucking rap. And it's like, I don't think people always have fun just like watching us do that. You know, I say all the time that like the biggest struggle with a hip hop show is you're gonna watch 4 people do the same skill set. You know, and granted they'll all bring something different to the table, but it can be an exhaustive exercise at times. And so my big thing is like, how do I get the crowd to like participate in the show? Whether it's like a sing along or a fucking hand motion or
what sets you apart from they've seen like everyone could be great. Like you've seen 4 rappers in a row. Is that you've seen the same skill set over and over again. How are you gonna like set yourself up? It's the same thing like if you're on a show like you know their comments. And is there anything that I can do to make people remember me at all at the end of this? It's a fun challenge.
Another thing I really think that is cool too, not to get too far off track, but there's like an understanding in like deep comedy circles, it seems, that like a comedian, there's a difference when a comedian is like working out material or when they're like putting on a big show. And people and like audiences can differentiate that, and they're like, I'm okay with seeing, you know, Dave Chappelle in this 40-person room and not pulling out my phone because he's trying something out to work for a bigger thing.
So that, like, especially when it's a comment like that, you're like, it's worth being in that moment. Like you might be there when he minds out something that turns out to be an incredible thing.
Exactly, and you watch him trip and fall and get right back up.
Well, or that's even cool. Like you could see a bit be not at all ready, and then be on Netflix 8 months later and see that bit kill in a special. I mean, I was there when it was a terrible bit, and that's a really cool experience to be able to say you have.
So I guess an interesting segue. I love stand-up comedy, but so much of my like comedy experience has kind of been like peripheral in the sense of like I grew up a Comedy Central kid, and I follow stand-up now, but so much of it is like YouTube based, and even that, it's like now the comedians have podcasts, and that's kind of their segue into shit. So I have like what I feel is like a very like I don't know, like a more grand like understanding of how things work. But how would you compare it to like the circuit that you're in, for example? Like, do you see people working to like do material for their own specials or anything like that, even like self-produced YouTube specials or anything, or is that circuit mostly a lot of like working out shit right now?
Especially in the last like, couple of years, you are seeing guys that are local but have been doing it for 10, 15 years and have been headlining locally and are very proficient comics and like can draw people locally, and they're all starting to do their own thing. And that's it's cool that we're in a time where they can do that and they can be successful doing it. Like a guy like Will Noonan should be seen, and if someone else isn't going to give him that opportunity, it's awesome that he has a chance to do it himself and put himself out there.
Yeah,
and it's a cool time run for guys like that haven't popped like that like in the mainstream. Which nobody does. Like such a small amount of comics compared to the amount of people that are doing it, that it's really cool that we are in a time where you can put yourself out there and do it completely yourself.
Yeah, it's so interesting because growing up, it was you'd see somebody work up towards late, 5 minutes on late night, and then 23 minutes on Comedy Central or something like that.
The only times you saw comedy is either a person on late night TV, which is incredible, or they were in a theater doing comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
You never saw what that smaller stuff was.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to be like. The first couple of years doing comedy, when you feel like you're fake into it, it's weird seeing how the little stuff builds up, to start getting progress in it, and to start getting better and to start getting shows. It's neat to see how you can see a path to build up to being a good comedian, and it's neat.
Yeah, we're in such a clip culture right now too.
Oh yeah.
That it's never been more imperative to have clips of your work.
Yeah.
And those clips almost build up such a huge following.
Yeah.
There's I feel like, especially in the pandemic, there was comedians who did their come up off of clips basically.
Oh yeah. A ton of Billy was it Andrew Schultz and all a ton of those videos. Were your phone sideways and he fucking blew up.
Yeah.
It was really a lot of the people that are great self-starters like that will succeed without fail. It's cool every time you can get reward from that.
Right.
That's nice.
I love that.
It's a tough thing. I'm so shitty at doing social media. I think I have 2 clips of me up doing comedy. They're both from the same set at an open mic, and at this point I fucking hate both of them. It's they're both the very early versions of those jokes, and I should never post these. But no matter when I post them, I'm gonna keep 2 weeks later anyway. So I have this but so bad.
It's tough, dude. I get that way with music, where it's you could literally never finish music if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You could keep going back and retweaking it, retooling it, but it's that thing of just kind of fucking let it go.
Yeah, exactly.
Get it out there and let somebody laugh it off.
Walk away from it. Get on to the next thing. The next thing might be better. This is never going to be perfect. Move on to the next thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's so tough.
Hey, real quick, live stream audience, let us know how the audio sounds in the comments. I just want to make sure before we get too deep that everything is sounding good. Nobody's complaining, so I'm assuming it sounds good, but just want to make sure. It's our second in studio episode so far. Thank you guys for tuning in. Crowd keeps getting bigger tonight, so appreciate everybody dropping likes and hearts and watching from YouTube and Facebook and all that. Hope you guys share it. If you're on Facebook, share it to your page. If you're on YouTube, hit the like, comment, subscribe. All right, seems like, yes, everything sounds, you're good, but okay. That's what I thought. So they said you could be a tiny bit louder. That's my fault. Will you just talk there, handsome?
I'm very happy you think I'm handsome. I took a shower and got ready and everything for you tonight. Really hoping to seduce you here.
Let us know if that sounds better.
Better. Probably talk louder too, but
all right, somebody said great. Okay. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. So just for reference here, there's no producer on this show. There's no fucking anybody, so I have to move knobs and move cables and all that. So
single mom over here.
Yeah. Anybody that knows me and Hellhound knows that I'm the least technically proficient person, and that's why we have as great of a team as we do.
So why not go for it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I know these guys would be like, Cody, you can figure this out. Yeah. You've got this.
Yeah, you'll get there.
But thank you guys. I appreciate it. Comment and let us know what you guys are thinking. If you guys have questions for Andrew too, please don't hesitate to drop them in the comment. I'll throw them up on screen and get those answered for you as well. We're just having a fun time shooting the shit anyways.
I'm an open book. I'll answer any questions as well.
You heard that. Drop all your naughties in the comments. We'll get them answered.
I don't know if it's I don't go to a ton of rap shows. I'm not sure if it's the same at rap shows. I know you like hardcore and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I feel so I go to like a lot of pop punk shows, go to a lot of hardcore shows.
Hell yeah.
And I feel like every comic is just trying to get to a level of like I'm not ever trying to be as funny as Dave Chappelle. I'm trying to kill as hard as like the terrible jokes that the singer New Found Glory tells in songs. And I is it the same at your show? Like, do you get the cheapest laughs ever at your shows too, or is that just like a?
Dude, that definitely happens sometimes.
It's fucking crazy. It blows my mind. It makes me feel disgusted at shows. Like to be very honest, be like I don't get how they're getting such big laughs. It's so annoying.
It's so baffling.
It's insane.
Really fucking blows my mind.
I'm such a fraud. Instead of trying to write jokes and be funny, and then this guy says just whatever bullshit comes out of his mouth, and people are dying at it. And like that's awful.
Dude, it really is so fucking wild.
Like to hear a stadium go wild when Tom DeLonge says the word "fuck" is an insane thing to be around. It's
just
fucking
so
crazy.
Fucking funny.
It's nuts.
Oh my gosh. All right. Hold on 1 second, guys. We are just going to do one more tech thing here and then jump right back to it. Charger.
Guys, he left me all alone. I don't think he's gonna come back. Sounds successful. I think he's coming back. Yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm back. Sorry, guys. Gotta do a little fucking switch up here.
A nice setup you have here, though.
Thank you.
Like every other podcast I've been asked to do is always ends up being some person's living room. And they never end up getting released. So I'm happy this is at least live stream tonight. There's actual people watching this. That's an insane first for me on a podcast.
It's funny you say fucking living room because that's where I left my fucking laptop charger. You know what? Now we'll be able to see everything what we're doing.
Okay, a big screen. Look at us.
I'll thank you guys for the comments. Ryan said, "Come back, Pope. We miss you." I'm gonna be back soon. I'm fighting the clock right now because my fucking computer's gonna die if I don't get this set up right.
I pulled my dong out while you were gone.
Huh?
I pulled my dong out while you were gone.
Hey, you know what? Keep things spicy.
Yeah.
Guys, when we beat the clock, let's find out.
Hey.
Are you back?
Somehow, some way, we were gonna bring it back. Thank you guys for waiting. My computer shit the bed. Of course. Cody, don't let your computer crap out. Thank you. I will do my best to not ever let that happen.
A real solid piece of advice.
Yes, thank you. I will do my best to not let that happen. Thank you guys for sticking around. We're back to it. Thank you, Ryan said, welcome back, my G. I'll never leave my charger at home ever again. Look, we're just tearing the whole setup tonight. Fuck it. Last episode, just where were we before we fuck it, I totally lost my spot. Let's go back though to, you said something about, you mentioned like 2017 earlier. Is that around the time that you started doing comedy and like open mics and all that?
Started in June of 2016. That's my first open mic. Murphy's Tavern.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, a solid beer night on Wednesday. Great open mic. Yeah, did that mic for like a couple of years, and then branched out, started going all over the place, and eventually just got to a point where like, I can't stop doing it. I had to keep, like I'm now I'm gonna look at a real asshole if I stop doing this. So now, I'm in. I mean, later almost like 8 years now.
Dude, that's awesome. What was the first push that like made you take that leap?
I love comedy forever. I have a pretty terrible stage fright, but I have like a giant little sibling desire for attention at all times anymore, and I've always loved stand up. And that's really just I wish I had started earlier, but I honestly just didn't have the gumption to do it. And then eventually, I don't know what it was. It was like, I'm about to do it. I'm gonna try it out. And after 5 minutes of reading the worst jokes I was ever told ever. And somehow survived the first time, and then. I would say the first time's the only time that's scary, and then you slowly get used to everyone hates you for the next few years, and then eventually you start, and hopefully you get a little bit funny, and then people less and less people hate you each time. And I feel somehow kept doing it.
How many, so obviously us being New England boys, I know we've done a lot of this circuit. Have you had the chance to go out and do anywhere outside of New England yet? Obviously I know New York is a big market.
Yeah, I haven't been to New York yet. The only place I haven't done shows in New England is Vermont and Rhode Island.
Okay.
But New Hampshire, the other cool thing about living in Lowell, I can say yes to doing shows really anywhere. And I'm at the most, I'm an hour and a half away from Hartford, and I can go do a couple of cool rooms there if I want. So close to New Hampshire, hour and a half, 2 hours away from Portland, go up there and do shows. We're a really great spot.
Yeah.
It's nice. In the middle of a lot of little bustling cities, and then obviously in Boston right there too. It's amazing. We're in a great spot. It go all over the place.
If you're in Providence or Burlington, shoot my man a DM and get him up there. Yeah, we gotta put those pins in the map already.
I would love to see the last two states. Vermont Comedy Club is really cool. There's a bunch of really cool little shows up there.
I love Vermont so much, dude. It's one of those things, especially for us, for whatever reason, and the hip hop shit has always been very good to us. And so I will continue to go back to Vermont every year. We have the most fun shows there for whatever reason. And it's a community that's really different compared to a lot of other places that we do shows in, because it's not like being in EBF where they have nothing to do, so they just come out in droves.
Yeah.
These people just give a shit about whatever's going on.
They care about the arts in general.
Yeah.
There's a very artsy vibe to Vermont.
It really does.
They're cool. They appreciate a lot of different types of things that are happening. So
I feel like they're similar ilk of people like Western Mass, where like they'll appreciate like there is other stuff going on in some of these places, but like they'll appreciate whatever is happening locally. Like we don't get people just coming up with a huge show. Necessarily, like you need shit like that. Like no one at any show I do has some legitimate followers. Like you need people that are like, I want to go out and like see what local people are doing.
Yeah.
Whatever art scene it is, like you need shit like that.
Yeah, I'm sure it's tough to like build your draw as a comedian when you have like 5-6 minutes a night. You know, it's like
you're doing it at like so many little bodies. I don't know. That's why I say it's huge for people to like. You see people like start shows and then get like they're discouraged by it, like a bad turnout, and then they stop doing it. And it's like you kind of need to like just take that hate in for a little bit, and like putting on a good show, and then like you eventually like none of us are bringing people. Like the show itself needs to bring people. Like people need to know they're gonna go and see a good show.
Yeah.
I feel like we have so many good comics around here too. Like we are, and like I feel like the whole Merrimack Valley, like Manchester scene is starting to get like a bit better. Like we have a lot of good comics around here now, so we can put on our own shows outside of Boston. We can really independent of what's happening there.
Have you had the chance to open for like a bigger comedian or anything to that extent that was like a little different than the circuit shows?
I've had like a few shows where I've done the feature for people. Like I featured for Paul D'Angelo. A writer for the Daily Show. He's been on some stuff. That's an open for him in a dumplet.
That's dope.
That was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool show. It was very funny. I didn't know I was doing it at the time. I ended up featuring for Frank Cantarelli, who's on Sopranos. Pretty big comic locally. That was a really cool thing. I did that at Olympia, some Greek place in the world.
That sounds really dope.
Cool show. Yeah. And I think for a couple like local headliners, but nothing super cool.
Is there anybody that you have like kind of like bucket list shit that you're like, man, if I ever got the chance to open for this person?
I feel like Josh Wolf would be like the coolest guy in the world to hang out with.
Dude.
Get way too high.
I like that.
Yeah, he seems like the coolest guy in the world. And that seems like it'd be a fun guy.
That seems like a really interesting.
Such a skill guy, and such a cool fella. Just like obviously like the cute, like it would be amazing to open for Chappelle at like one of those tiny room things.
Yeah,
like, wicked cool. That would be a really cool thing. I think it was like a cool answer. And Gary Belmore would be a cool guy to open for.
That would be
like these local. He worked with my girl. My girl worked for his brother, which was like pretty.
That's
neat.
cool.
I thought that would be like a cool. And I'm like I'm not huge on kissing ass. I met him at a show one night. And I was like, oh, my girl works for your brother. He fucking hates his brother. He wanted nothing to do with me after that. I was like, oh, it's like one time I tried to do some shit.
I know, right? You're like, of course, dude. Holy shit, that's brutal.
Yeah, that guy's absurdly funny though.
Yeah, I feel like
a couple months back, he was so good.
I was gonna say, I definitely remember he came around here somewhere recently. Dude, I just saw, not just, I guess it was probably a year or so ago now, but Robert Kelly came to the Nashua Center for the Arts. One of the funniest fucking shows I've seen. And I just saw it today, actually. I think his first special came out today, if I'm not mistaken.
It's insane.
I haven't watched it yet, but I've been saving it so that I can watch it with my girl, because we had such a blast.
He's so funny. He's so aggressive.
He's up there for like one of my favorites for sure.
But he's such an underappreciated guy.
Yeah. And you just don't see people that go that long without a special.
Yeah.
And so it almost makes you think like, damn, this guy really just like honed his fucking.
He has something, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not like he doesn't have material.
Exactly. He's still doing big shows. He just doesn't put something out.
Yeah.
Like he has something there.
Like, dude, the Center for the Arts show, I don't know if it's sold out, but that's a $750 cap room. So it's like, even if he had to have at least like over halved it, if not more.
Yeah.
So it's like you're talking 500 plus people probably
for
a guy with no special.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess that's the power of podcasts too.
Word of mouth and grinding it out too. And then well, that's it. But podcasts get everybody out there too. It's not, like he gets talked about by like way bigger comics on their podcast. So, like, Bloomberg loves it. Like, you hear him talk about it constantly. You Joe Rogan about one all the time. Like stuff like that is huge for people.
And those are the podcasts that bring power chords to their shows too. Yeah. So you know that the show's not going to die halfway through.
Yeah. Yeah, he's that'd be a cool battle.
Yeah.
And then those local guys that like got out like on the shows coming back home would be like a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
My buddy Alex just did Thomas Come Home. That was fucking mind blowing to me.
Yeah, that's pretty huge.
Yeah. It's like a couple years after me, and then like blew up like the last couple of years. Exactly what we were talking about earlier. Like he grinds his ass off, he works his ass off, and now like does Thomas Come Home. That's fucking incredible.
Dude, that's not a small gig.
No, that's fucking diamond. Like that's
crazy.
Like I wouldn't even like that seems too daunting for the bullshit that I like the nonsense that I do on stage is not meant for a show like that. It's not at all.
Well, it's funny you say that because I feel like one thing that comes up a lot right now in comedy podcasts and shit like that is the idea of showroom. You know, you get these big guys like Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura, and they start doing like arena shows, and the conversation now is like, who does an arena comedy show really benefit? Because it's not the audience. If you're stuck in the nosebleed seats of somewhere, and you can't watch if they're doing a motion, you know what I mean? Like, it just seems really weird, but it's becoming more and more prevalent now.
Well, there's so many guys doing it. It seems, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it would be fun.
Do you think that's just because comedy is that big now? Or is that like the circumstance of something different?
I think it almost seems like they can do it, so they do it, like just to say they did it.
Even Louis has like gone on record saying that he hates it. Like he was like, I did it, and I don't think I would ever do it again.
No, well, I feel like you have a guy admitting that and then coming back and doing clubs and theaters.
Yeah.
Then you have guys that are like, well, Louis did it. I want to say that I did it as well. And then they get an opportunity to just because you did sell all of those tickets at one time, does that mean like I don't know what are you giving up something in your show by doing that?
Yeah, I heard a really cool story about Ali Wong, and I guess that I don't know when this was. It was sometime recently that she got offered a residency or she got offered a show at like the fucking Staples Center or something like really big like that. And she was like wholly opposed to it, and so she did like a month of dates at like a small club nearby, and would just do like 2 or 3 shows a week.
I think it was Fluffy. Did a super similar thing we did. Like I think it was 14 weeks. Just straight through a comedy club and never wasn't sold out doing 2 shows a night.
Yeah. And I just think that really goes to show the level of like artistry that goes into like, we're making people laugh, but like you have to create an environment that's like conducive to that too. And how intimate can you be with these people and still be yourself?
Yeah, exactly. Especially if you are someone that relies on being intimate too. Like you're risking a huge part of what you do, like to be in a place that big. Or if you don't, then there are some people that. Like if you're in a place of 500 people and I talk to a couple of people, whatever. But if you're in a place of 10,000 people and you're way up in a balcony, you know there's never a chance that you're going to get interacted with. Like, I don't know, it feels like it takes something away from it. If I'm an audience. Like if I'm in a small theater, I can be pretty far back and yell something. If you ask a question, I just feel heard. I'm going to hit the fucking guard now. I'm laying up at 317. I'm not getting for shit.
Exactly.
I don't know. And it's like, how cool would that be? I think it's a cool thing here with saying that like you sold out this club every single night for a month straight. like every single night, the only people that came who wanted to see me is so much cooler than saying you filled up the Staples Center for a night to me. I don't know.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem that exciting to me personally. Like obviously it's like I guess like yeah, knock that off your bucket list if that's your
experience, right?
Yeah. But yeah, it just goes back to like who does that benefit, you know? Because it's certainly not the audience.
No, I don't think it's like not every comic is meant for that thing.
Yeah.
Like a guy like Chip Kell does it, and he's the guy who's like talking at you when he's doing his sets in a special experience. He's talking directly at you. He does not give a shit if you interact with him. He's talking at you. What he has to say is going to be funny. And if you're a comic like that, then yeah, for sure, like it helps. Like you don't need the crowd whatsoever. If you're a guy like Bill Burr ranting for an hour and a half in a special, do it his voice. That's fine. Like you don't need you don't need the interaction. Like I feel like a guy like Burr, I think benefits from being in a more intimate place with an audience, especially if you're telling stories and things like that. People want to feel like they're a part of it.
Yeah.
If you're in with stadium or who's doing baseball fields, it's like what could feel less intimate.
And it's funny you mentioned Bert because I don't know if you're a fan of him. I'm kind of
I feel like I waver.
Yeah.
If I like it too much, I realize
it starts to get
annoying.
Yeah, it starts to be exhausting.
Yeah, so this is the guy I would never want to be around for more than 10 minutes.
But one thing that like comes up a lot in conversation is the fact that him doing these big shows, it's like, could he even really sell these places out himself, or is it because he's stacking this tour with all of the
it's every giant headliner that he can get on this. It's an incredible. It's like a festival in a day, and it is a cool experience. But that's a really good point. It's like if he wasn't following Dave Attell and Big J Okerson, how many of those people are still going to even be there?
It's just wild.
Like you definitely you pull at least a good chunk of those people just from finding out Dave Attell was there. Like a huge amount of that audience is just there for him.
It really is just so weird. My friend Ryan said, I haven't been to a comedy club in ages.
Check out Laugh Boston, local.
True.
Come to the Laugh Attic.
Yeah. Definitely check out the Laugh Attic every Thursday in Manchester.
At 9 o'clock. You'll see a lot of very good comics. You'll be entertained by the ones that aren't as good. It's a very fun night. Drinks aren't very expensive. Pretty good food. Danny's a lovely host. Every Wednesday, the Shaft team has a show as well at 9 o'clock, hosted by stand-up. That was me earlier. That's a really good show. There's a lot of good comedy around there.
Yeah, and that's the thing, dude. There's so much going on, and I think the big thing is just people knowing where to go.
Yeah, well, you don't have to go into Boston. You don't have to go to Boston hopefully to see a good show. There's a lot of good stuff happening around here. The Shaft has a great show every Wednesday. I think Danny's going to start doing more like actual shows with the Laugh Attic, hopefully. So hopefully we will start having stuff there a little bit more often. But every Thursday you'll see a great show at the open mic.
So when you say an actual show,
yes.
You mean more like a headliner feature kind of thing?
Yeah. Like a weekend book show. And hopefully we'll start doing more of them instead of doing one right after the new year. It's called High School Dropout. Everyone's doing book reports on that show. That should be something else that's going to be very interesting. I think they'll really get to learn a bit about the people.
That sounds so fun.
It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be interesting. I think I have I was an English major in college. I had a teaching license in English. I'm like a huge literature nerd, and there's a couple of just saying there's a couple of people that I'm almost sure are elite borderline illiterate that are reading like. So there's one comic that's reading the that's reading Inferno, just one part of Dante, and I'm positive she can't understand this. I tried explaining it like in the dumbest way possible to her, and she immediately was like, "All right, well, I don't know who Socrates is." And I was like, "Well, we're fine."
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if this is the road we should go down.
I don't know where to go from here. We have another kid reading of Mice and Men, and I feel like he's going to learn how much like Lenny he is as he starts reading that book. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And my buddy Alex is on that show. He's going to talk about the book Ulysses. And
he's so fun.
Possibly the funniest person on the entire planet. He's the funniest person in the world. Yeah, like I said, it's going to be a great show. We've have Josh Day headlining. I'm not sure exactly what he has planned for us. He's doing something completely out of pocket. He's a crazy person, so it'll be very good. But whatever he does, he's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Josh is very funny comic.
So is that the one that's on the 26th?
That's on the 3rd of January.
Oh, okay. All right, so we got some time.
Yeah.
So January 3rd at Strange Brew.
Yeah,
Mark your calendars now. We will be adding that to next week's event listing as well.
$15 online.
Get your pre-sale tickets.
Definitely worth it. There's a lot of very good comments on it.
Guys, I talk about this shit all the time on any event that we do too, but pre-sale tickets for any sort of live event, it benefits you as the attendee because you typically get some sort of reduced admission, but it also helps the event coordinators because pre-sales allow you to have an idea of what your attendance is going to be, and it also gives you some upfront capital to work with, whether you need to pay a deposit to an artist, help cover a hotel room, help cover transportation, things of that nature. And so many of these comedy shows, hip-hop shows, live music in general, live art, it's all people that are coming out of pocket for this shit. So if you really want to support and you know that you are probably going to go and have nothing going on that night, just get the pre-sale ticket. It makes the world go round. And if you buy the pre-sale ticket, you're that much less likely to cancel or not show. You bought the ticket, you made the commitment, so you're going to hold yourself accountable to going out and having a great time.
I promise you a good night that night. That's going to be a very fun show. There's a lot of very good comments on it.
Yeah.
They're very, very hilarious comment what she's reading for this stuff. Kid Kwame, very, very funny comic. He's reading some kind of manga book.
That's awesome.
Biggest fucking nerd in the world.
I love that.
It's going to be an interesting show. So you have like a lot of very different types of comics doing something like pretty different than we usually do too. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to make me furious. But it's going to be fucking livid for it. But it's going to be a really great night. It's going to be very fun.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
No, it's going to be awesome.
Do you feel like did you have any? I hate to like. There's not like a good word for it because it's like I don't want to be like dramatic, but like, was there any like stand-up comedians that you kind of like looked up to or had like some sort of like, I would love to follow in that person's path, or this person makes me want to like do this shit? Was there anybody like that for you?
I would say outside of how it ended, a guy like Greg Giraldo, like just like he was like so unabashedly himself and so super opinionated, super productive about it, and like just he had a clever way of putting things. I would kill to be like that. Again, but maybe not the end. I think I'm angling away from that, which is good. I'm not quite as bad a path as he does, but I like that. I think this is a guy I think I would enjoy. It's like I'm very aggressive, I'm very brash, but I would like to make a good one at some point. Which might not be true, but I'm gonna keep yelling about it.
No, I think so, man. That's such a great choice, dude. It's interesting that you say that. There's another comedian I'm trying to think of right now. It literally is like burning a hole in my fucking head that I can't, like, I'm gonna be so embarrassed that I can't think of this later. Patrice O'Neal.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I think about so often how different the state of comedy would be if Greg Giraldo and Patrice O'Neal were both still around.
two guys that were that like Patrice O'Neal, like to call out every bullshit person that we've seen over the last like 10 years. He would have called out in a major way. Another guy was something unabashedly himself, and he wouldn't like not even trying to make any kind of good point. Just like, this is my opinion. It might be fucked up.
Yeah,
here it is.
He's just willing to fall on his sword because of how much he believed in it.
That was so fucking funny.
Yeah, both of them I've cried laughing at their shit. It's so funny.
One of the funniest things that's ever happened.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable comic.
Man, I love that. What a great answer, man. I'm so good.
Thank you very much.
Not to be like a comedy elitist, I was like, oh, don't say like Dane Cook or something, because it's like I grew up in that time too.
Matt Wright for it.
Oh my God, Matt Wright.
I don't have the hairline for it anymore. I'm gonna have to.
Man, Matt Wright, that's a challenging one. I thought that guy was kind of funny when he came out, but then it was like, I feel like he kind of abused the crowd work special thing. It just became too much where it was like, I couldn't even tell you like one of this guy's like fucking jokes. It's just always like, felt like it was just like trying to pick up older women in the crowd kind of shit.
It was kind of like, it was the thing. It's like, I do, this is going to sound weird, I do a lot of crowd work, but I feel like if it doesn't go anywhere, if it doesn't lead to something, what the fuck is the point?
Yeah.
If I can get into my joke, or if I can figure out another angle to talk about someone, that's fun. Like, otherwise I'm just talking over it and like hoping for the best. Like, if I can get it to something, I think that's the goal always. Like, I think with him, it's tough to like draw the line on it. It almost seems like people. I don't know. I think it's adorable. I'll give you guys that. I'll go with that. The real cutie.
The real cutie. Is there any comedians like active right now that you feel like people should know, or that are kind of slept on because they're not at their peak yet, or whatever, like, or just anybody that you watch that you think is like fucking hilarious?
She just had a special come on and people was really pumped it pretty hard, but Jason on Lucy.
Yes.
Obscenely funny. And then on Tilt, this like is like a very small comic. I think I wish people knew more about him than on Tilt. Only a couple times. He was out in Austin now. He was pretty okay. Taking Paul Cypress, he was from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Out in Austin now, unbelievably funny comic. Very sad guy comedy, but very, very funny guy. That's a guy I wish more people would do. I've mentioned his name 3 or 4 times already, but Josh Day, a guy I've never seen him not just completely own a room that he's walking through his own comedy in, and it doesn't matter what he's reading out of his notebook. He's the funniest one. He's a guy I really would show up to a lot more people in the game. He's starting to get the credit for it, but you mentioned Bobby Kelly. That guy is like should be the household name.
Exactly.
Like, people who like kind of comedy nerds, they know who he is, and people who love comedy know who he is. But he's the person that like everybody should know. He's unbelievable. Yeah,
he's like so much more than a Dennis Leary co-star, and I feel like that's what he gets like relegated to.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember that guy from that show on FX.
The Jeff Paul guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very funny. I mentioned him earlier, and I think being able to put his own stuff out is helping him a lot with that. Like a guy like Josh Wolf, like super underrated, super underappreciated.
Yeah.
Like another guy that if Matt Rife can get where he is by being a cutie and just being like crowd work, why can't Josh Wolf, who's also a cutie, and has jokes, be the same thing? I don't get it. Guy's absurdly funny though. Like other local people, we have a ton of comics around here that are like so worth checking out. Dan Bolger, like while he's still here,
yeah,
and worth finding out about. A guy that's just obscenely funny. Dan Hall, you know, the wicked hilarious kids from around here. Yeah, there's not a shortage. Like I was saying earlier, people just like go check out a comedy show.
Yeah.
Like you're bound to see at least one person that you think about after the show. Like we have no shortage of hilarious people out there.
It's definitely like one of the richest times for comedy scenes.
Yeah. Like the scene outside of Boston is starting to grow too. So you don't have to, like, if you're a person that lives in Nashville, you live in Manchester, you live in like outside of Boston, you don't have to go far from home. There's shows everywhere. So many bars have shows, so many little restaurants have shows, and most of them have some good comics on them. Like this Thursday at Soho. Yes.
Some
good comments on it.
Be there.
Me and Kaylee Brunson also on that. She's on the show at Strangebrew on the 3rd. Hilarious comment. Come see both of us at Soho.
That's in Hudson. I know a lot of you guys are close to here, so if you're free, this Thursday, Soho and Hudson.
Food is amazing.
See my man Andrew for a great show. Laugh your ass off. Shout out to the homie Ben that jumped in the chat. Appreciate everybody that's still rocking with us, by the way. Appreciate everybody that stuck around for all the technical difficulties. But man, you know what's interesting? You said the thing about Adrienne Appalucci. So, and there's a reason I asked this. Were you familiar with her before this new special that just dropped on Netflix?
I heard the name, and I'd maybe seen some clips. I'd never seen her live. I'd never really heard about her. I know I heard her on like a couple of podcasts, a little bit. Like again, nothing I paid super close attention to.
Yeah.
Just like hardship here, like really pumped her out over the last little while here. Blew up her name, which is nice. She's hilarious.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is I had never heard of her before. So the day her special came out. So I guess you have to go back in time. Louis?
Yeah.
Fan?
Oh, yeah.
So you probably know Louis' specials are all done through the website.
Yeah.
So you have to go and buy them and download them and all. So I've bought a couple of them, and so I'm on his mailing list now. And he doesn't send out shit unless he has something going on. Yeah. And it's nice too because it goes to my main.
Your actual mail.
Yeah.
You go right to spam.
Exactly. So it's like shit that I want popping up in my feed.
Yeah.
And he actually sent out a long ass email the day of her special, just plugging her special. Had nothing to do with him. It was just him talking about how great she is and how funny she is, and he brought her out to open at Madison Square Garden and all this shit.
That speaks of a huge role.
Yeah.
There couldn't be a better ad than that.
Exactly. Imagine somebody of that level or stature using their mailing list with probably hundreds of thousands of people to just say how great you are and go on Netflix. And Louis don't even have a Netflix special, I don't think. So it's like, it's not like he has any, so there's no benefit or like, oh, I'm on this team. So it was just like, this is good fucking comedy. Please support this person.
And that's how people, he benefits, everyone benefits by people going and watching.
Yeah.
Everybody, it trickles down to everybody. If it goes up to him, people will watch him because he gave up that recommendation. People going to watch her stuff, trickles down to all of us idiots down here. It's only a good thing for all of us if a guy like that is just being supported.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's another nice thing you see about that. And I'd say even compared to when I started, the scenes are so much more supportive than they were. It goes both ways, I think, but it's by and large, I think it's a very good thing. You have people that are cheerleading for each other and really supporting each other, and you really need that. It's very helpful. In the sense, it feels like you're bashing your head against the wall sometimes for months at a time. it can be like the loneliest thing in the world to do comedy for so long, such long stretches at times. But they put the scenes that was less clicky, a lot more supportive.
Yeah.
And very helpful for everybody. You see people really start to move along. When you have people there really pushing you along, you get better quicker. You wanna get better for your friends. You wanna challenge yourself because you know there's other people there that they're not gonna lie to you, but like if they see that you're trying something with, all right, I think you're doing like help you along as opposed to just like shit on you.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun there, but this is kind of a place for that.
Yeah, I feel like for every like Kill Tony room, you need like a room of supportive people to like counterbalance that kind of abuse.
I think we've gotten that. I think Danny's cultivated that a bit at Strange Brew. Now, like you know, a lot of the comics that are on that list are there for at least most of the show. Like everyone's up there, everyone's talking, everyone's smoking with each other, everyone's hanging out. Like there's like a nice little community there now. And it ebbs and flows. I think that went away at that place for a while. And when it's there, that room's the best place in the world. Like when everyone there has a common goal in mind, that room has the best feeling in the world. And my favorite place on earth. When it's really going well. And he's gotten that back to that point. He's worked really hard to do that. That's what you need. Like, you need the community. Like, and that, like, everyone else sees that too. Like when you're like, when I fist bump the comic before me and I actually mean it. Like it's not just like
it's not like a good set.
Yeah, exactly. I think people see that. Like when Danny brings me up, and like you can tell that we're boys. So like he's actually excited to bring me up.
Oh yeah.
And it makes me excited to do it, which makes my performance better. It's gonna make everything better about the show.
He hit me up. I want to say it was either the night of our show or the next day. And was like, dude, you met Andrew, blah, blah, blah. Like,
yeah,
and I was just like, oh my God, that's so crazy. Yeah, I did. Like,
I ran over there right after you go set. And I like smallest place in the world. Like, just came from seeing a rapper. I'm going to tell that rap joke in front of me. So like, oh, that's my buddy Cody. I was like, it's a tiny world.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And that's one of those hardcore things because we both came from the hardcore and metal world and shit.
Oh my God, I can't think of your team right now.
Oh, Byron?
Yeah, Byron had the fucking Bridge 9 shirt on.
That
blew my mind. I was like, that's fucking crazy.
Dude, we love Bridge 9, man. They were really good to us. They
Those guys are great. I've been to a couple of them, so I love that place.
Yeah, I love them so much. And they did this really cool thing. It was an indie record label market. So in that little upstairs area where they do the shows,
the warehouse.
Yeah, they turned it into like basically like almost like a flea market kind of thing, and it was all like record labels and zines and distros and shit. And like us not being a hardcore, like I'm a hardcore kid at heart, but we're obviously not like a traditional hardcore record label in that sense. And they were just like, just come and bring it and talk to people. And so like, it was one of the funnest days of my life because it was like, I was in like Mecca essentially and just talking to, I met Al Baril from SSD that day. Like I got to take a picture with him and just like shoot the shit. It was just so cool. And that was one of those experiences that just made me be like, damn dude, like all of these things, like hardcore, hip hop, comedy, like they're all so unique, but they all parallel so much and can like benefit.
Well, and something like that, we were just talking about like how huge community is. Like it'd be so easy for them to be like, oh, you guys aren't the right style for this.
Exactly.
Like, absolutely, come in, like you'll take everybody.
Yeah.
Like, you need that. Like you need everyone to be there for each other. Like, you need there to be a common goal in mind.
And it was dope. As soon as I like mentioned that I was like actually like into hardcore and shit, another guy that worked there literally was like, dude, come with me, and brought me on this tour of the basement where like all this shit is just stored. And I'm looking at, there's 10-yard fight VHS tapes in boxes and like I'm like,
they have a lot of cool shit there.
Yeah, dude.
Like out and about in that place.
I was geeking out, dude.
That's a really cool place they have. That's awesome. I love that place.
Me too, dude.
Some Yukon boy there.
Oh shit.
A couple of years ago, doing
like a little acoustic in-store or something.
It was not acoustic.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was fucking. It was like a VFW show, but Yukon Board.
That's wild.
There was like 90 people there, and you're like, they're just directly in front. It was an incredible show. And like another thing about community, so it was a fundraiser for their guitar players as camp. It was a huge thing.
Yeah.
And again, like those guys did it strictly to raise money for him and like to support another person in the scene. And you need people like that.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what form of art it is, you need someone like that.
Yeah, you need people in every. I hate saying scene because it sounds like diminutive, but it's like in all of these little fucking communities or tribes or whatever, it's like you need people that are willing to kind of self-sacrifice for the greater good.
Yeah,
like somebody's got to put their artistry aside and create an environment or whatever. You know, it's like Danny, I'm sure he'd love to go and work out 5 nights a week, but it's like he's got to host and put on an environment for other people to grow, and he in turn will gain their attention and the value that he puts out into the world.
Like you said, like, obviously he gets his time up on stage, like that's not the same as going up there and just doing the set. So he's sacrificing that. He's like every Thursday, he knows he can't. He's like, obviously he can get a guest host, but like for the most part, he was like every Thursday, like I'm already booked on something. I can't get booked on another show. Like he is sacrificing one night of comedy a week to make the best night of comedy for the rest of them.
Yeah,
and that's an incredible thing that he's there for.
And that's going to be really important too. Not to always make the comparisons, but in Manchester at the Shaft Scheme, there's rap night every Sunday night, and it's been going on over 10 years now. And so part of that is that it's like rap night is kind of like hip hop's like comedy workout space, where it's like there's an open cipher, but then there's 2 features or 1 feature depending on the night, and then a closing cipher. And so like I've been going there since the first year it happened, and so that was also a year or 2 into my like career as a solo artist, and I really got to like work shit out, try new songs, test out, if I was going to go open for a bigger artist, I kind of work my set out, and there's not any other places like that. And it's one of the most like valuable things in our community, because if you're a touring artist, it's a stable ground for you to go. And if you're from around here, you know that it's the place where you can work and build up your following.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, it's like, if you crush at rap night, you can crush pretty much anywhere, because it's like rap night is one of the best places, but it's also like a serious place in terms of like these people love hip hop, they love music, they love the craft, like they don't want people to come and fuck around and waste their time.
Yeah, well, it's just like something that's been going on for 10 years. Like it lasts that long because it has something.
Yeah, because people care.
Yeah, exactly. Like we were talking about people who kind of sacrifice themselves. Like you need a bar that's willing to do that. Like to sacrifice a room for an open mic or for like a rap night. That there might be some nights where like not that many people come to the show.
Yeah.
Like you need them to be cool with that and to go and be okay with those stretches that are like famine to get to the times of the feast.
Yeah.
I get it if you're a person and you can't do that, but it's so important to have those places that are like willing to like let you try and fail until it's succeed. That's so important.
Absolutely, dude. I don't know if you've got to do Shaft Scheme yet, but
yeah, one time it was a big comedy goal of mine. Actually, was to do Shaft Scheme. So it was like one of the first shows I asked to be on, I got told no to, and then I just eventually stopped trying, and then I finally did my first set of Shaft Scheme to 6 people. That's exactly like I went the week before and it was fucking packed. And then that's what local shows can be, right? Like you can go with the best intentions, and sometimes they can look that great. And that's why casting's amazing for like a lot of places. Like, hey, you guys fucked up, you're done now. And we ended up having a really fun show for 6 people. But it was a goal of mine crossed off, which was nice.
I love that.
Yeah.
Did you get to go there when Nick LaValle was hosting every week?
I did not. I did not. Nick was not a fan of me. Yeah, whatever. We're not getting it. Nick was not a fan of me. I'm not a huge fan of Nick. That's fine. His hats looks he looks awful. Terrible. He looks like a terrible guy. And then he backs it up. No, I never had a chance to do it before the Ruby Room, but yeah, I thankfully got a chance to do it.
That's dope. Because it's been Ruby Room, what, 2 or 3 years?
Yeah. And I lost the CDL staff.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Nick passed it off to you, the last name, and then he passed it off to Stan Megano.
Oh, okay. I remember that was like a pretty big deal at first because people were like worried there was going to be no more Wednesday night comedy thing. And
it was like a staple room that
yeah.
was there forever. And that, like, you need places like that. You need the place that people are going to miss when it's gone.
Yeah.
People are going to notice when it's not there anymore. You need those places.
Dude, I fucking hope the Shasky never goes away, dude. I've had so many experiences, so many like highs and lows through Shasky, and it's like, it's so much of like, at least for hip hop, dude, and I know for comedy too, they've definitely brought fucking incredible comedians through.
Any episode there.
Right?
Like he goes there when he comes through. It's always so weird to me. Every time, like, you randomly see him on the lineup, and it's like, oh yeah, he does this place.
It's always like, it's always the best, it's always like really thoughtful acts that they bring through.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, even like for hip hop, it's like almost every living member of Wu-Tang has gone through at some point. AZ has gone through. All the Strange Music guys, Cool G Rap, and these are artists who could do a 500 cap room, and they're coming specifically to do this one night in a 150 cap room, and they're sitting out in the fucking alleyway waiting to come in and shit. I just think it's so special that we have that in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time when I travel, I'm like, dude, New Hampshire is so lucky to have the hip hop scene it does. And so much of it revolves around the Shasky because of how much they're willing to sacrifice and contribute.
Yeah.
And it's like, even like Rap Night, it's been the same DJ the entire 10 years. They've switched hosts up, but even it's like the host that came into it was there for probably 6-7 years. And then he just passed it off to the co-host, and then they brought in another co-host, and now those guys have been holding it down for a number of years. And
the consistency is so important.
Yeah.
It's like, just knowing that show is going to be there is like super important for people, like whether you're an artist or a person that might go to it.
Yeah.
Just knowing that it's going to be there for you on Sundays too. So like, knowing that every Thursday Drink Food is going to be there is like a huge thing for comedy.
It's just a place where your tribe is, and you can go and like be safe.
Oh, tonight everyone looks forward to it. You know, like all of your friends are going to be there. For the most part, it's going to be a sick crowd. It's a perfect group for comedy. There's so much comedy that takes place, especially at open mic. Like, you feel like you're like ambushing people.
Yeah.
Like you're encroaching on people's good times.
Like Trojan horse.
Yeah,
like, hey,
exactly.
You want to hear about dicks?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, motherfucker, I came in here to watch the WNBA. Whatever question at the bar. Like, I didn't come here to think it was what you're saying. But trying to like having it be a separate room. Like,
yeah.
Like, again, they're willing to like give us that room for that night, and that's key. Like, yeah, having like that place where you know that the whole tribe is gonna be there. It's gonna be a cool crowd. Like everyone's there on purpose to watch comedy, which is like very important for comedy.
Yeah.
When you do a comedy for people that like weren't expecting it, it's a terrible feeling. Like having everyone there knowing what they're seeing, like is huge. Like you can have like if everyone's there watching and knowing that you're gonna do comedy, if you're trying stuff out, it's a lot less daunting.
Yeah.
Like, they know that this ideally will get better at some point. They know it's like maybe the like one of the first times I'm saying it. But people are just there like half watching TV and like half listening. It's like that sucks. You're not wrong, but you're also not paying attention to the fact that it's like a piece that's like in progress.
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes having a crowd is like specifically there for us. Yeah, I feel like it's a game gotten us to that point where like if you do have like a good amount of emotion every week now, it's better to watch us do whatever stupid thing we're doing.
I love that. We'll see in the clips too. He's been so good about getting clips of people.
He's awesome. He brought that to comedy around here. Like, there wasn't a lot of people taking pictures at open mics, and then all of a sudden there was like this weird dude in Crocs that was taking pictures at every show. And then he turned into Danny eventually. Like, I think that's like spread out to other people. Like it's another form of support.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm posting pictures of my friends when I'm seeing them. I'm happy that they're doing well. He's posting pictures of all of us to put the show out there, but also like show off like there is talent coming here that you should be coming to see.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you feel? So I guess, having like 10 years or so under your belt in comedy now, are there things that cause we have highlighted a lot of good, so I definitely am glad. But is there any like bullshit that you see at shows? Anything that you feel like, man, if we could just nip this in the bud and prevent this from taking up shit at shows, or how they format it, or is there anything that you feel is like detrimental? Or
I think people are trying to like put it on shows where like it doesn't belong. Like
okay,
it has like a terrible setup where no one can sit in such a way where they're watching the comic. You can't help but have the comic be like on the way to the bathroom, on the way to the door. It's like, well, all right, I guess we want to do a show. We didn't need to do a show. We could have spent more time looking for a place. Being more selective about where we're doing it. Again, no one enjoys themselves at an ambush comedy show.
Yeah.
It's very, very, way less often are people going to enjoy themselves at an ambush comedy show. Like, taking the time, like, putting effort into it, really picking a good venue, like a place that is right for comedy, I think is huge. So you'll go with the place and I'm so far away from anybody that's going to be listening right now. It's like, this isn't going to work at all.
What a nightmare.
Yeah. Like, everyone's sitting sideways 25 feet away from it. Like, how is this ever going to work? Like, that is like making sure it goes well. It's a huge thing.
Yeah. Damn, I never even... What a good idea, though, because it's so true. And especially because it's like, I think, for music, it's like, yeah, give us a shithole fucking room, we'll throw up our speakers and just be louder than everybody. You have to pay attention.
Yeah.
But with comedy, it's a lot more sensitive audibly, so it's like, you really gotta fucking pay attention.
Yeah,
you gotta shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you need to listen to the word and the next word, so the next words are funny. Like, you can't just collectively come in and out.
You definitely made me think about a brewery that we got. Usually breweries are dope.
Yeah.
But we got booked at one brewery. It no longer exists, so I'm not surprised. And I kid you not, the place was maybe a little bigger than these two rooms right here. And it had a bar in it. And it had tables for people to eat at. And so where they had us perform was like the back wall. And right here were the fucking bathrooms.
Oh.
So the whole time we're up there like pouring our hearts out, doing this emotional rap shit, and anytime somebody's got to take a leak, they're walking into like they're walking into our space, and then you just hear the door open, close, flush, fart, whatever, like, and it was like, I just remember my man commented, he goes, I was at that show. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It was rough, dude. Nothing worse than being vulnerable so somebody can take a shit during your set. But man, it's so true. That's got to be so crazy for comedy to like not have your crowd.
It was like, it would be like just like a bad setup that was a lot of having a good environment for it goes a long way to making the show go well. I did a show speaking of religions, Anheuser-Busch, the bus place in Merrimack, with the beer garden there, which is like a very cool looking room. They have a stage and everything. The stage is like behind another gate, and it's like 15 feet away from the closest table, and it has like the highest cathedral ceiling in the world, and terrible speakers unless you were outside of the building. And then the speakers outside, because the fucking speakers to announce on food and shit.
Of course.
That's what they were playing us through. It sounded like dog shit on the inside because it's like all echoes. Like there's nowhere for the sound to go but up. But everyone outside could hear it very clearly. They just didn't want it.
Oh my god.
It's terrible.
And did they like interfere with the fucking food announcements at the same time?
No.
I just imagine you're like in the middle of a joke and they're like, Carrie, burger for Carrie?
It's a brewery where like tours are coming in every like 7 or 8 minutes. You have like a bunch of like dumbass kickball teams coming into their door.
Yeah, you got kids being like, where's the Clydesdale?
Yeah, it's like, oh, and I'm talking about awful shit up there. And there's like a child that you can on the road. Like, this isn't my fault that he's hearing this, but you're putting me in this terrible position.
That shit, it does weird me out. Like, I love brewery shows, but I feel uncomfortable when they're like family-friendly brewery shows. Because it's like, I could do a family-friendly show, but if I'm going to a brewery, I'm expecting a bunch of like drinking adults.
If you tell me there's gonna be some kids that are under 18, I can adjust myself.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, they might hear some shit, but I can at least like not say the worst things in the world. But it's like being surprised by you looking out in the crowd after you've already said some shit.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a fucking child here. All right, awesome. That's terrible. You feel like you're a bad person.
Exactly. You're just like, you just get this feeling in your gut, like, oh, who's gonna be the first person to walk out right now? And it's like, I don't know how you would like. I mean, I don't know if it's easier or more difficult, but like, I know for me, like, I do certain events, like we just did the holiday stroll here in town, where they friggin' block off downtown and all that. And so that's like a family-friendly event. So I was like, I went into it consciously being like, okay, I'm gonna try not to curse. I'm gonna like censor myself. And then I get up there and I start performing, and it's like, it's really difficult because your muscle memory is just like, oh, go through this thing, and if it's fuck shit, whatever. And I was like audibly having to just stop and like pull the mic away and bring it back. So like, if I slipped, it was like not a big deal.
Yeah.
And man, I just was like, I can't imagine if I had like jokes with like cursing in the punchline, and then I like go to a family-friendly gig, and it's like, you know, I almost pooped myself. Like,
I don't think I'm all that dirty. I definitely say some rough stuff at times, though.
Yeah.
And like to look out and see a kid, and I feel like I've gotten to a point though too. I feel like it's like just come in time of doing it, whereas I can give a fuck. Like I could.
Yeah.
Like we brought this thing here. I'm gonna feel jarred by it when I see the kid for the first time, but you're gonna hear some shit now, little buddy, and that's not my fault. It's Mom's fault. Yeah, and I feel like that just came with time. Of like, fuck it, who cares? So,
no.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to look out there and see stuff like someone with like a big toothy smile. It's like, oh, you're fucking 12 years old. Like, this is terrible. Like, I said, the place I'm doing this week Soho. The first time I did it at a Chinese restaurant. The first time I did it, one of the people that works there had the child taking tickets at the door. It was like a little kid at the door taking tickets. And I'm like, again, like I'm only a couple years into comedy. I'm like, boom, like this stupid shit, and not funny, and it's a part of it very abrasive. And like this poor kid doesn't need to hear this. I'm sure he's in a better place now, though. Like, I'm sure he's like, all right, well, I'm not doing comedy and make sure he's doing my homework. But I think it's such a weird feeling, especially for the first few times you get surprised by it. Like, oh no, this is awful. Yeah, I've gotten to a point where whatever happened.
Right. There's such a weird dichotomy of like, now there's like, I feel like there's this big clean comedy scene, like Dry Bar and all that kind of shit. But then you also have the other side of the spectrum, which is like the almost like overzealous, like trying to get canceled comedian or whatever the hell. And then of course you have like people in the middle.
Both of those people at the end of the spectrum are equally boring.
Yeah, they're just like try hard, annoying, like. Like I will say the one clean comedian that always like comes to mind that I think is fucking hilarious is Nate Bargatze.
Yeah,
but it's like
there's a whistling, you don't notice it.
Exactly, that's the thing. He doesn't like make it a point to like stress the idea that he's clean. He just tells funny fucking stories.
Your grandmother likes some of his jokes, but he doesn't get advertised as your grandmother's favorite comedian.
Yeah,
like, he's not like Sinbad or something like that.
And he'll go up there with like the other like non-clean. Yeah.
And his voice. If I had his voice, I would never not be talking.
Oh my god, I know.
The greatest cadence.
So true.
I would never not be talking without him. He's been made to speak into a microphone.
Yeah, he's like a boring podcast voice.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Do you ever run into shit with venues where they're like looking specifically for like clean comedy, or they give you kind of like any prerequisites, or do you typically kind of get the freedom?
Usually get, like, for the most part, you get the freedom. Like, they'll tell you not to say anything like too crazy at some places. Again, it's, you know, I guess that's a matter of perspective in the end. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I'm that dirty, but then, like, you know, like, dope. And I don't see it in the end. I don't see it in the end. You know, I'm talking about rappers and what I'm talking about a day of work. I'm not talking about anything dirty. It's fucking bullshit. I don't realize it. And like I guess like I feel like it would suck if a person was like, hey, you know, what's the city get for it? But at the same time, I get a host coming up and being like, I don't want this fucking place to get taken from me. That's stupid. And I feel like that should be understood already in like going into it.
Yeah, you would think that's like some preliminary shit.
I'm sure you can't feel like sadly, it's not. Like you still continue to see people. Now there's a difference between going up and like trying to do something and it goes way sideways and goes way against how you were going, and going up like this like trying to be like very edgy.
Yeah.
Like there's a huge difference and it's really transparent. I try to do it, you know, and definitely not clean. I don't think I like go out of my way to do gross.
Yeah. Do you have any like goals or plans for your comedy in terms of like either short term or long term? Like you hope to put out a special, you hope to do a tour, you hope to maybe do a feature of this caliber. Like, is there anything that you've kind of just been like, this is my fucking goal marker?
I think the longer you're in it and you see like the real world chances of things like a legitimate special where people are watching, how like that is, you start to like adjust your goals down. It's like, well, you know, like I think it would be really cool to at some point do like a legitimate local headline where like I am doing shows every week, like I'm doing an hour, and I wouldn't like continuing when I think that would be like, you know, I don't need to make a living off of comedy. Like I accepted that like pretty quick into it. Like I'm probably gonna do stuff. Like I'm happy I want to. But like I would love, like it would be cool to like make some money off of comedy. So, like I just do comedy for people. Like, ideally, it's like what I want. I want people to want strangers to watch me. You know, I want to make people laugh. And that's like the only goal I have. And I would like for more and more people.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool to start considering for some bigger comics, like maybe getting out we're with some comics at times, but I think that's also something I don't think I'm working towards that end at the moment. But you know, I think I'm working more towards like trying to make more people around here. That at the moment. Like I said, like you adjust the goals as stuff happens and you start like realizing stuff about it, or like you start realizing that you can do more stuff too. Like I think my goals were like compared to like 2022 and like when stuff started like opening back up again to where I am now. Like I thought I was like just about done. Like I was not having a good time at all for like the first year after stuff opened back up. I was like, all right, well I guess I'll probably go to straight groups so often, like see my friends. And then fucking thankfully Danny got a hold of that and like made it, turn it back into what it is, and then like I started to like take a stride again. I'm like, I actually want to see people. I want to have people see me.
Yeah.
And I think I'm starting to work towards that a little bit more now. That's fun.
Yeah, I love that. Speaking of Thursday night, Soho, Hudson, New Hampshire. Next chance to see Andrew. Free show, good ass Chinese food, Greater Nashua, Hudson shit going down.
I'm not trying to. I want to come on my phone. What's gonna happen?
We know what that does. You know what? That's probably a sign.
Is that a good? Okay, I don't know if I'm gonna fuck up everything.
No, I mean, we got almost 2 hours.
Awesome. Awesome.
I mean, granted, I probably spent fucking 10 of those dealing with technical difficulties, but
they got to watch me forget that the camera was still on me for a minute, and then remember and try to talk to them,
right?
And then I'm not talking to and then just sit here and review.
And then they saw me switch through 3 fucking cameras.
I feel like they run a full show.
Oh yeah.
Like, get to see behind the scenes.
I will say that one thing I figured out in the midst of all this crazy technical difficulty was since my computer died, I had to switch to another computer that I had here. And so what that did was now we can watch all the comments on the screen. So now my guests can see all the shit that you guys are talking about them right in front of them. My man Ryan said, good time spent, my friends. Ryan, thank you so much, bro. Look, we're tearing down the set as it is.
Like I said,
Oh, there we go. Phone died. All right.
sorry.
No worries, no worries, dude. Ryan, thank you. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much to everybody that tuned in tonight. Once again, sorry about the technical difficulties. My laptop died while we were in the midst of fucking making shit happen. Huge, yeah. Now Andrew's phone died, so we're just a mess tonight. Huge thank you to my guest Andrew Mcguinness. He's going to be at Soho in Hudson, New Hampshire, Thursday of this week, and January 3rd. Check out the special show that they have going on at the Laugh Attic at Strange Brew in Manchester, New Hampshire, as well as every single Thursday you can check out the Laugh Attic open mic too. Lots of great stuff going on. Just a reminder, this Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, myself and Byron G are going to be live on WMNH 95.3 FM. We're going to be doing a live performance and interview on Matt Connerton Unleashed. And then Sunday, December 22nd, is going to be our last show of 2024. We're closing it out at the one and only Rap Night Manchester at the Shaft-Scheme, Sunday night, 9 p.m. Be there. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Thank you for dealing with all of my nonsense. Appreciate all of the support. As always, I just have to plug the new album, Giant Steps in Gate City, is available everywhere that you listen to music right now. We do still have some limited CD copies left. If you want to grab one while they're available, head over to hellhoundpublishing.com and we will ship them out within a couple days of getting your order. Thank you guys for all the support on the show. We have a crazy lineup of guests for the next month and a half or so right now. So no more gaps on the show. I appreciate you guys rocking this thing with me as I've been trying to figure this out over the last month or so. It's episode 5, but it feels like episode fucking 50. So yeah, so we're gonna close this thing out tonight. Thank you for all the support. Drop all your comments and bullshit down there. If you have any shows that you want to have plugged on the next episode, or if you are interested in sponsoring the show and having your logo anywhere on the little screen, shoot me an email at codycentralshow.com and we will make some magic happen, and that way you guys can help me keep all this shit alive, because none of this shit is cheap. Much love, guys. Thank you for the support. hellhoundpublishing.com. Make sure you follow Andrew at AJMLOL4 on Instagram. That is the best place to find him. You can see clips from his performances. You'll find show listings there. So make sure you go hit follow, turn on post notifications, all that shit. And make sure you're there Thursday at Soho, Hudson, New Hampshire. Free show going down. So lots of great stuff happening. Thank you guys so much for the support. Much love, everybody. We will see you next week. Have a great one. Peace.